Come, whoever you are, to Meg's Magical Mansion,
a virtual guest house for spiritual wayfarers,
a place where the ordinary becomes magical,
where wisdom is yours for the asking,
and where your higher nature is just a wish away. Thanks for joining us today, and we are out at the beach. Parfait, isn't it a gorgeous day?
It is. It's absolutely fabulous out here.
And we came out here, we're kind of out in the Salt Flats today, because today we are talking about salt.
That's right, today it's all about Edgar Cayce and the power of salt.
Enter a world of enchantment, of enlightenment, Meg's Magical Mansion.
We came to a salty place for
We
sure,
did.
and since we are currently living in Florida, we're
We
not sure
think
for
every
how
day.
much longer. But we do currently live in Florida, and there's a lot of salty water here.
And apparently seagulls today, as I'm sure you can hear in the background.
Lots of people are out here enjoying the beach, and so are we. And today we're going to be talking all about salt, and a lot of witches use salt, don't they, Parfait?
They do, for purification, for protection, for grounding.
Yes, and salt absorbs negative and malevolent energies.
And it also is used for casting circles, creating barriers, and also for cleansing.
But why? Why is salt so powerful? Somebody who had a lot to say about salt, Parfait was one of my favorite people, Edgar
gosh.
Cayce.
You love Edgar Cayce.
Been on an Edgar Cayce tear recently.
Absolutely. Edgar Cayce was famous and known as the sleeping prophet of the 20th century.
Edgar Cayce could access the Akashic Record. As a matter of fact, Parfait, he's the one who kind of coined that term, Akashic Record, and sort of discovered it. And the Akashic Record, we've done episodes on it. It's the sort of the catalog of all of the vast sum of all human knowledge. And Edgar Cayce would access that and give readings from a trance-like state.
And Edgar Cayce spoke extensively about the healing properties and uses of salt.
Today, we're going to check out some of the things that Cayce had to say about the wonders of salt.
I'm excited.
Edgar Cayce certainly had a lot to say on a variety of subjects, but one of the things he talked about a lot is the power of salt. If you don't know who Edgar Cayce is or was, he was born March 18th, 1877, died January 3rd, 1945, and he was a clairvoyant known as the Sleeping Prophet. And while in a sleep-like trance, he would diagnose and treat illnesses and disease. He could see auras. He could astral project. He literally gave thousands and thousands of documented readings in his lifetime that were transcribed word for word as he gave them. He would talk about Atlantis, reincarnation, dreams, death and the afterlife. And Edgar Cayce was a devout Christian. He said he was not communicating with spirits, but rather that he was accessing the library of all knowledge, the Akashic Record. Edgar Cayce is the one who brought us the concept of the Akashic Record. Cayce was born in Kentucky and only had a 9th grade education, yet he could seem to access, understand, and discuss numerous topics way beyond the level of education he possessed while he was channeling. Edgar Cayce trained as a photographer and apparently was very proficient. And back around the 1900s, that was a very intricate kind of work. It wasn't today where we just pick up a phone and take a picture. Photography was very complicated. But even though he worked as a photographer, Edgar Cayce was mostly famous as a clairvoyant and was sought out by many people throughout his lifetime. Cayce had many, many thoughts on food and diet. He talked about eating foods to maintain the correct acid-alkaline balance. He felt that certain foods should not be eaten together, such as citrus and dairy. And Cayce believed that even nutritious foods can be poison to the body if the eater's frame of mind is negative. And Edgar Cayce had a lot to say about salt. He referred to it as sacred technologies because salt is made of crystals. He was very insistent that you should be using natural, unprocessed sea salt or pink Himalayan sea salt. And to him, salt was much more than a dietary flavoring. He viewed salt as a spiritual conductor, something that could form a bridge between physical and spiritual worlds. He referred to salt as crystallized starlight and felt it was a great medium to connect us to the cosmos. And he used salt for purification and healing because he felt it cleared negative energies. Cayce said that because salt is made of crystals and is a cellular technology, it creates certain sort of antenna structures within body cells. He was very adamant that you should not use processed table salt with iodine added to it. You should be using natural sea salt, unprocessed. And he spoke of the biblical significance, saying things like the salt of the earth. Cayce really took that concept to heart. Cayce recommended using salt in a lot of ways. For example, salt scrubs, especially following a steamy, hot bath when the pores are open. He recommended Epsom salt baths and foot soaks. Epsom salts help induce sweating, open up the pores, and help to eliminate toxins through your skin. And Cayce would combine salt and vinegar in a paste, or make packs heated up and put in a pillow. That was used to draw out toxins from the glands. Edgar Cayce believed that salt removed negative energy and would balance and strengthen the aura. He was very interested in the crystalline connection, the salt crystals carrying our stellar and cosmic memory. He felt salt would act as a vibrational tuning fork for the body's cellular technology. Cayce was also a huge fan of kelp. Small amounts of kelp being incorporated into your diet because kelp is iodine rich. So again, you want to make sure you don't use too much of an iodine type supplement. And used in moderation, it can support thyroid health and glandular balance, and it helps to maintain that alkaline mineral balanced body that Cayce really believed in. He also used castor oil packs to detoxify and to improve the lymphatic system. Cayce used baking soda, oftentimes combined equal parts with salt to create a paste, mix in some water and make a paste, or make it like a rinse, mix some baking soda into water and use as a rinse. And he was also a big proponent of massage therapy and had created his own form of massage therapy, the Cayce Riley massage, which used Swedish osteopathic and neuropathic techniques. But Edgar Cayce was still mostly famous for all of the readings he gave, and he founded the Edgar Cayce Association for Research and Enlightenment, where all of his transcribed lectures are documented and kept. He gave thousands and thousands throughout his life, many of which predicted future events, and if you've ever read or delved into any of those, you would be aware that Edgar Cayce predicted a lot of major events for the year 2027 and the 5 years immediately following 2027. Well, that year is now just around the corner. According to Cayce, the year 2027 is going to bring seismic earth changes, including a shifting of poles, along with a great spiritual awakening. So if you're interested in hearing more about Edgar Cayce's predictions for 2027 and what lays beyond, please let us know in the comments, and we'd be happy to dive deeper into all of Edgar Cayce's teachings. Edgar Cayce worked tirelessly throughout his life, giving readings to the point of exhaustion, but he continued on, stating that he was waiting for further instructions from the other side. Cayce always said he would die when his work was complete. And he died from a stroke, and his final words were, "How much the world needs God today." Edgar Cayce really believed that we should have faith in our higher power, and that our purpose here is to be an expression of universal love. To me, one of his most inspirational quotes is, "The mind is the builder, and as the soul thinketh, so it is." And that is a quote that was very inspirational in me forming Meg's Magical Mansion. You don't have to live in a three-dimensional magical mansion. Your mind is the builder, and if your soul believes you are living in a magical mansion, so it is. And to me, that is the cornerstone of manifesting. So, maybe everybody needs to get out there, have a nice foot soak, take an Epsom salt bath. Don't use that processed salt now. Edgar Cayce said that stuff's bad. But if you've ever wondered why salt is so powerful, maybe this helps to explain some of it, because in witchcraft, we use salt for so many different things. And I think knowing the crystalline structure of salt really helps explain a lot of its power. So I hope everyone has a lovely, salty day.
That's our look at the power of salt.
You know, Edgar Cayce made many, many prophecies and helped many people.
He sure had a lot to say about the year 2027, which is right around the corner.
I know, the year coming up next year. He did have a lot to say about that year.
So if you want more episodes on Edgar Cayce and some of his prophecies for 2027 and the years to follow, let us know in the comments. We'd be happy to share more information with you.
Absolutely.
And of course, in the words of Buddha, 1,000 candles can be lit from a single candle.
And the life of that candle will not be short.
Happiness never decreases by being shared.
So thank you for sharing your time and attention with us here at Meg's Magical Mansion.
Till next time.
Toodles!